what's next for Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks? Got to talk about why there is a mood of optimism following what is a devastating and how did this happen collapse, and what I think you've been given in 2025. And I'm quite envious, Ducks. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you don't miss any of the segments that we upload here each and every day. Like the video and answer the comment below. Do you believe that Oregon is in a position that is envious going into this all-important 2025 for them in year 2 of what is going to be the 12-team playoff format? I believe that Oregon is in a really, really good spot. There are lots of reasons to do that. There are football reasons for that. There are life reasons for that. But I'm going to start with the RJ reason for that. It is you have been given the gift that I think you needed to get to understand where it is you still have to go and what there still is out there to achieve. Now you know what many of us know. Winning the conference championship in a Power 4 conference league does not guarantee that you're going to win a national championship. Beating a team that you beat soundly in the regular season and a conference championship does not mean you're going to do that again, even in front of what is essentially a home crowd. And even with a roster that is as stacked as Oregon's roster, with a head coach who is about it as any head coach is in the country, nothing is for sure. And I'm certain there is an Oregon Duck fan that remembered the 2018 Rose Bowl between Georgia and Oklahoma. Oklahoma goes into halftime with a 17-point lead. You're thinking the game is over. Lincoln Riley certainly was. That's why Squibb kicked at the end of the first half and gave field position to Georgia and momentum. They come out and they win that game in double OT. Fantastic game, outstanding outcome, and I'm sure that coming out of the locker room, that's exactly what the Oregon Ducks thought they were going to do. The Buckeyes were just not having it. They had you nailed to the wall. They had you offensively, they had you defensively. There was nothing that Oregon could do to stop the onslaught that was the Buckeyes, for which there is a Duck fan rightfully asking, wait, we're the #1 team in the country. We're undefeated. We've beaten this team before. We've beaten Penn State before. Both those teams playing in the college football playoff. Nobody in the Big Ten has beaten us in the regular season. And then Ohio State becomes the first team to hand Oregon a loss as a Big Ten member. So now you go into 2025 0-1, right? But also with this understanding, like, I do believe in the coaching part of this, the football part of this. Never, ever waste a failure, ever. You're going to learn from this. You're going to watch this tape. You're going to remember this feeling. It's going to suck. It's going to absolutely destroy you. It destroys me even 7 years on, since the best Oklahoma team I think that had a chance to win a national championship squandered that opportunity in 2017 going into 2018 postseason. Oklahoma was the matchup for that Alabama team. And I sincerely believe that if Oklahoma had been able to get past Georgia, they would have beaten Alabama. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't, right? It's also been that far away that we're talking about Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, guys that are playing in the NFL, and a couple that are postseason teams, postseason quarterbacks, postseason teams. One that is all played all the way to the Super Bowl, just hasn't won it yet. For Oregon, I realize you're also in the Oklahoma zone, or what I think of as the Texas zone, or any zone you want to put in, Notre Dame, where you're going to make the college football playoff, and you're going to come across a team that just has you or has an edge on you. What is shocking to many of us is that we thought that Oregon was that team going in, right? Nobody this season had looked unstoppable, unbeatable. It wasn't 2021 Georgia out there or 2022 Georgia. It was a team that had beaten Ohio State but by 1 point, beaten Penn State but by 1 score, beaten Boise State but by a last play field goal at home. It could be beaten, right? That it got so beaten so soundly is really the shock here from start to finish. Now, going into this season, you have really, really, really good foundations underneath you. At the quarterback position, the wide receivers position, offensive line, defensive line. You got everybody's favorite mercenary in college football, Barry Alexander. He's going to be pretty damn good for you. I understand that you feel some way about Derek Harmon going to the NFL, but, you know, you had dudes, you'll get more dudes. Another example is Dylan Thieneman, who I believe going into this season, is one of the 3 best safeties in college football. Did it turn out that way? No. Is he one of the 5 best safeties in college football? I still think so. There are things that Dylan Thieneman was doing that only Caleb Downs had done. You have that on the back end now. But you also understand what it's like to get cooked on the outside and where you're going to actually have to bow up at the cornerback positions. But you have the bones there to be really great. Offensively, it feels like this is the Dante Moore show and the Dante Moore time. Tez Johnson said this going into the Rose Bowl. He said, that dude's so ready to be the starting quarterback at Oregon. Tez Johnson even said he'll be a Heisman finalist 2025. It is loud talk, but it is loud talk for a guy that started played in 9 games, as a true freshman at UCLA. And Dante Moore has all the tools you want. It's there. You see it. I think Chip Kelly threw him in the deep end because he had to. I don't think it went so well. And then there was the news that I learned only this season that Dante Moore's mother had contracted breast cancer in 2023. And Dan Lanning led with that. And I think that's one of the other reasons why you're talking about Dante Moore being in the spot. Now, Austin Novosad is there, and I think that's a great quarterback. But I don't believe that you have 5-star quarterbacks in the upcoming 2025 class that are looking off Oregon because they understand, the priority here is the dude from Detroit who's got all the tools that you need. He can do all the things you want. In Will Stein's offense, he can be lethal. Now add to that Dakorien Moore, who is the best player at his position coming out of this class and is one of the 5 best players, I think, in the entire country, right? I think he's top 7 in the 247 composite. So you got the more thing going on. More than that, you get the pit in your stomach that needs to be there. I realize that this can sound counterintuitive, but trust me on this. Just go with me. I had accused many of just not having suffered enough to understand what it means to be playing. Playing with a desire to win is great. Playing with a desire to win is probably going to win you a championship, like the Big Ten championship. It's going to get you past some teams that you otherwise probably shouldn't get past or allow you to play to the level of your potential. But playing desperate to win is an undefeated man. That man can't go home. That man has to win. It's why I have been so huge on Ohio State going into the season, why I picked them to win a national championship at the start. It stuck with that even when it didn't look great because this team has suffered. They've suffered their own fans. It's as if they got to Ithaca and they said, we don't want you here no more. Take your black ass back to Calypso, okay? Penelope, she about to be married to somebody else out here, all right? They are still on one about losing to Michigan 4 years in a row. Winning a national championship is going to put a balm on that. But what they will be expected to do in 2025 is beat Michigan. And it ain't like Michigan is going to be the same Michigan. They have retooled and they have gotten better, okay? Justice Haynes out of the transfer portal, Bryce Underwood out of this class, and it will go on, right? They're going to get stronger. They're not going to be the same team that finished 8-5 this year. They're going to be a better football team. Same thing with Penn State. And you go down, up and down the Big Ten. Think about what Indiana was able to achieve in 2024. My goodness. That's coming for everybody all the time. And that's what Ohio State has been facing in the Ryan Day era. They've had a Michigan team that found its footing. They've had Oregon join the conference. They've had Penn State breathing down their necks even as they have beaten that team by a score. They have lost the national championship game. They have lost college football playoff games. I'm not saying that you got to pay your dues, but I am saying you did. You paid a due. This season sucks. It sucks. There's just no getting around that. How you respond is not just a measure of your character. It is carte blanche. Do what you got to do to go win, baby. There's nothing that fires me up more than someone saying to me, all right, RJ, go, put the hammer down. We're done saving tires. We're through that phase. Go run him down. Give me the single-minded attitude and focus to go do what I have to do. It's why I'm so hard on football coaches, frankly. If you're a head coach, and I would say this about Nick Saban. I said this about everybody, but I said this about Nick Saban. You've got one job. One job. Your job is to coach a football team. You ain't got to pick out clothes. Equipment manager does that for you. You don't know who owns the mortgage. You don't pay it anyway. You don't know who owns the light bill. You don't have to worry about making a car note. You don't have to take people to school. You don't have to make sure that Tyler's got on pants and diapers get changed. All you have to do is show up to that facility and do your job. Be the best damn football coach in America. The freedom to do one friggin' job, man. That's what I was chasing. You got one job in 2025, Oregon. One. Win the whole damn thing. That's it. That's your job. You don't get to talk about winning a Big Ten championship because you've done that. You don't need to talk about a Heisman finalist because you had those. You don't need to talk about doing anything else except what you have never done in your history. Go win the national championship. I don't know if you're going to do it. Took the Greeks 10 years to beat the Trojans in a war that they brought to their gates. Might take a bit longer for Oregon to figure out how to get this done. But each time that you go up against this thing, think of it as a Metroidvania, man. You're going to learn something new about yourself. You're not going to make the same mistakes. And eventually, you will find a way. Stay low. Keep those feet driving.